Hello and welcome to this episode of Point Counterpoint. We are here once again to discuss and deliberate issues of importance in Goa. Today, as we sit here on the 21st of November, there are two big events that are happening in Goa: the International Film Festival of India and the sacred exposition of the relics of our beloved Saint Francis Xavier. Now, the point here is, this is a time when all eyes are on Goa. The world's eyes are on Goa. We are expected to have a lot of visitors. People from the rest of the country come here. And this is a time when Goa can really showcase all its glory and splendor to the world. But what is really happening is that there is a seamier side to this, in the sense that when people are coming into Goa at this point of time, they are facing one of their worst ever traffic woes. Locals in Goa, especially in Panjim, Porvorim and Old Goa and Ribandar areas, are facing dangerous times, with lives being lost due to dug roads for various kinds of projects. The cities are in a complete mess. The area between Porvorim and Panjim, because of the flyover, is in an absolute nightmare. The Old Goa Heritage Precinct faces a lot of challenges. Challenge of lack of planning, the challenge of the lack of a proper master plan for Old Goa, and the entire heritage precinct coming under severe threats. So we'll unpack all these things, but what is most important here is we asking a basic question: do we really care? Are we sensitive enough? Do we see these very solemn and grand occasions, the exposition and IFI, just as important dates in a calendar which need to be ticked off? Or do we look at a long-term situation where proper planning and proper organization can mean a better life for ourselves and a better Goa for all of us? And that is something we are going to unpack quickly. We have with us a very eminent panel of stakeholders and people who've seen this closely and have spoken very articulately about this for a very, very long time. First, we have Sauter D'Souza, a very well-known activist, columnist, writer, and of course somebody who has been very much a part of the citizens movement for decades now. Glenn Cabral is a resident of Old Goa. He's been supporting the movement to save Old Goa and protect its heritage, and has been a very vocal voice. And Wilbur Ticklow, of course, is a very well-known social activist. He was also with the United Porvorim Citizens Forum. I'll open this up to you, sort of, with one basic question. See, if we look at the streets, where sewage work was done, water is getting filled. Dugs which were dug up for power are still dug, and people are dying. Sewage lines and water pipelines have become death traps. Roads have developed potholes, and this is a picture everywhere, whether you talk about Panjim or whether you talk about Porvorim.
So, Joy, I think we have to look at this whole issue now over the years. Our politics is one of the worst, the most corrupt governments we have put in place. And I think it's a vicious circle now.
Right.
As you saw all the scams that are unearthing.
Right.
People are also involved in what you call greasing the wheels of this corruption.
Right.
Okay. And finally, what you see is this outcome of things haphazardly done, poor quality work, and yet people are not opening their eyes. See, basically, abuse, what I see this politics as abusive politics. Okay, and people have normalized this abusive politics.
Right.
If a government digs up the roads, people start using the footpath. The police even doesn't need to tell them. The vehicles start taking the footpath,
right,
if the road is dug up. So people just take what you call that, things for granted. They don't value their own personal lives. Human dignity basically is not respected. Each other's dignity is not respected. So I don't care. It's me, my thing. As long as I reach and I get my work done, whether I pay cash, whether I trample over someone, or whether I drive over someone. Okay. As long as I am getting my work done and my life is going on, I'm happy. I'm not bothered who the other people are killed and this thing on the way. So this is a very vicious cycle, and it's getting more and more progressive and more deadly.
Right. Right.
And innocent people are dying in this. I'm saying I'm not innocent because we have in a democracy, we are the people who elect the government.
Right.
And unless we elect such corrupt people, these people will never see the light.
My point being, Sota, is that, what is shocking is, if you see in 2015, we had done a story talking about the Donapal Miramar Road, which was in a mess before the last IFI. Now, almost a decade later, before this IFI, we are talking about the same story about other roads being in a mess, which means that either the governance has not moved or people have taken the shoddy work for granted, because you cannot be digging the same road again and again and again and saying we are laying ducts now, we are laying pipelines now, we are doing sewage work now. This cannot be an endless long playing record, which is jarring now.
No, just day for yesterday, I think your headlines in the Herald had said,
yes,
is Goa ready to welcome the world for the exposition or something like that.
Yes, we had said that. Yes.
Okay. I think that if you use the same thing, is the infrastructure and the government ready to welcome the world for IFI and exposition? I think the government is ever ready to welcome anyone at any time, as long as the Goans are playing domats.
Right.
We are playing domats for the tourists, we are playing domats for the world. Nobody respects us here. Once they set foot here, they decide the laws, they decide everything. We are just left gazing at these people.
Right. Glenn, to bring you in, now the issue is, of course, the exposition, of course, is a cynosure of all eyes. It was a very solemn, beautiful occasion today, as the sacred relics were brought out and all that. So that apart, that of course obviously moves all of us across religions. But the point being that the larger story that needs to be looked at here is, what is the future of the Old Goa Heritage Precinct? And that is, and I would say that heritage precinct has been played with. It's become like a plaything for so-called planners, because what has happened is, right now, till now, there is no special master plan for Old Goa. If you look at all cities, actually heritage structures have a separate planning, where you cannot do any kind of haphazard development. And we were actually having a conversation right now. Also, the other thing is, the local body there, whether it's the panchayat and the local authorities, according to what we've heard, literally has no control over what is happening in Old Goa. I also remember that when the regional plan against which all citizens fought, the 2011 plan, that is the time when Edgar Ribeiro had written a letter to the then Chief Minister, Mr. Manohar Parrikar, saying that before you do anything, please have a separate plan for Old Goa and protect it, because down the line, if you don't do this, you will lose this heritage structure forever. And of course, he did not receive any reply to that letter. He still waits for it. But the point here is that his words have come to be extremely true now after so many years, and God bless him, give him a long life and health, but he very painfully has to live to see this day. So the point being is that your Old Goa has gone completely out of hand. Please elaborate on that.
All things started, few years back. We was fighting for one cause.
Yes.
Some bungalow had come illegally.
Yes.
They had built in the protected area.
Yes.
So we was shouting that time, this will be send a precedent for the other illegalities. So last 1 year we are seeing it. So there are a lot of zone changes are going on. Farmers are allowed in the protected area.
Right.
So this happens because after the lot of huge protest and all, ASI at last managed to get their buffer zones and their boundaries, heritage boundaries on the regional plan.
Right.
It was not there. Because of that, the loophole, the builder was allowed to have a construction activities in Old Goa. So now after last year, they had in the gadget they had managed to get a boundaries plans on the regional plan. So now, at present, ASI boundaries are marked, but the state boundaries are still not marked. So now whatever the illegalities coming out, whether zone change, maybe farmhouses, it's coming around the state monument. So this is because of this loophole is left. So TCP is playing.
What exactly is the loophole that there is?
The boundaries are not marked on the regional plan.
For state monument?
For the state monument.
Okay.
And whatever now whatever zone changes, like 1,50,000, another 50,000 plus farmhouses, the eco resort, it's all within the 100 meters of the state monument.
Oh, so you're saying that this is a very important point that you're making, that all the zonal changes that are happening in Old Goa are within 100 meters of protected monuments.
Protected state monument.
Right.
So because of that, these are allowed. So I think there is
So
a high
can't there be a
time.
remedy? Can't there be a judicial remedy for this?
It's there.
Right.
Government is not. I don't think they are very serious about the heritage. So now already the one moment started to have a master plan before it's too late. Already there is a signature campaigning is going on. Almost I think so they crossed 30,000, 40,000 signature saying that Old Goa needs a master plan, and it is a heritage centric master plan.
Right.
So if that is the only case we can say whatever is left. As you said, like last 10 years, what is there, it is not there now.
Right.
So another 10 years exposition, we will not able to see whatever is left, what is there now. So that is only the hope is that we have a master plan, and in that case we can manage our whatever left heritage is there left, that we can manage it. So otherwise it will be too late for us to cry.
Okay, we'll come back to that. Wilbur, let's deep dive straight into the mess in Porvorim right now. Of course, the usual signboards, no pain, no gain, and all that are coming up. You know, whenever you have these projects, these typical quotations are put on the road. But I was seeing a lot of images today, including drone photographs and other things. See, the point is, you can say that this flyover is needed and for connectivity and so on and so forth. But the point is, nobody knows for how many years this pain has to be endured by people in and around Porvorim, Sukur, and not only there. I think the spillover effect has gone right up to Giri and beyond. So the point here is that in the travelling time between say Mapsa and Panjim, at times during peak hours goes up to 1 hour 45 minutes, if not more. The issue is that this is now this whole conflict between people who are saying, what else do you expect us to do? Don't you want the flyover to come up? And how do you tackle this mess? So now how do you balance this two?
Yes, Sujay, you're right. 5th of August, I made a letter to the Panchayat of Sukuru.
Yeah.
You know, I penned down some points,
Right.
because I saw that there would be congestion, there would be problems, you know. And I had said that there should be traffic police at all the junctions. First, the roads have to be patched up.
Correct.
There can't be potholes where
Right.
people lose control and fall, and many accidents have taken place.
Right.
Then I had said that there must be proper lighting on the internal roads,
Right.
because the traffic is being diverted.
Right.
You know, no cattle should be on the roads. They should be controlled. You know, the owner should be made responsible. No carts and kiosks should be allowed at the
Right.
junctions.
Right.
Where leads to congestion.
Right.
You know, all these points I had put down to the Panchayat.
Right.
And I had put copies to the MLAs and all.
Right.
You know, but I had mentioned it there. You know, but even the other day I was in the Sukur Panchayat. I had gone there and I spoke to the secretary and I asked him what you all are doing about it. Saying, no, I will take it up with the traffic police. I said, it's high time, because it's a mess, total mess. And the dust pollution that is created is really killing people, you know. It's going to be bad on health.
Also, I see that when the new Zuari bridge was being built, we understand that also took a lot of time. But the point here is, the areas that were impacted during the new Zuari bridge construction were not in the middle of congested residential areas.
Correct.
Here is that you are basically cutting through actually deep residential areas,
Yeah.
malls, other houses, residential colonies, and which is really, really impacting lives.
Yeah.
But the point here is that why cannot there be, some kind of a mechanism to challenge this? I know there is a public spirited advocate Moses from Margao, who's filed a PI on this. But the point is, what do we need? I mean, instead of lamenting for so many years, I'll ask sort of the same question. What do we do here?
See, I think now the citizens have to get ready to go to court. Okay, if the first give a warning to the authorities to implement all these things which are
Right.
required. You
Right.
know,
Right.
safety, most important is safety of the residents,
Right.
the travelers, the tourists that are coming into. Now there will be pilgrims walking long distances from all the way from
Right.
our borders
Right.
into Porvorim, into Panjim and Old Goa.
Right.
So what's going to happen? What's their status?
Right.
The roads are bad. There's water all over. There's muck all over. So it's high time the government takes control and makes the contractor responsible.
Right.
See, the contractor is earning a lot of money, big money. Okay, where it is going, in whose pockets it's going, that is
Right.
to be also looked into. Because there's so much of corruption, nobody cares. You know, and it's affecting the residents first.
Right.
There's floating population in Porvorim, if you see, and traffic is moving all around Giri, Sangolda, Salvador de Mundo,
Correct.
Pena de France.
Correct.
So it's become a mess. So we have to give time frame to the authorities concerned, the PWD, the highway authority, the local politicians, the MLA, the minister concerned, that he should improve on the situation.
Okay.
Or we move court.
Okay. Sort of the basic problem seems to be, whether you look at Porvorim, Old Goa or anywhere else, I think the voice of the people are on the roads. but the power of the people and the local bodies and local institutions has been completely taken over, but through a centralized approach, because of which our panchayat bodies, our village bodies and others literally have no control over their own village kind of planning. And you of course have a lot to say because you have been deeply involved in village level planning. Porvorim, after all, at some point of time was a pristine village. Old Goa was a very small place where people had a power over their own destinies. The basic problem seems to be that local people have lost power of controlling their own destinies.
I think local people have, I think we activists or NGOs have been responsible for local people giving up their responsibilities. Today, and Wilbur may agree with me with this, you see, and many people also call me, sort of, what are you doing? Anything happening? I said, why should I do? I will help you all.
Right.
Please all get together, because now many projects are coming up. We are having severe water problems, power problems in Porvorim, and there are multi-story projects coming up there.
Right.
Okay, and so people are calling me, sort of 1,000 flats are coming up.
My God.
Anything being done?
Yeah.
I said, it's affecting you, right?
Right.
I will help you.
Right.
You see, are you this thing? But not. I'm not going to put my name, because everywhere then they say, only Sauter is doing it,
Correct.
Wilbur is doing it.
Correct.
It should not be that case. Then they back off. See, we have allowed as activists. See, I have taken a lot of beating because right from 1990 we have been fighting.
Right.
We had Sukur Jagrut Samiti, that time when Dayanand Narvekar was there.
Right.
IT Park was supposed to come up.
Right.
Then industrial estate was supposed to come up. We opposed that. So all these issues. Then the Komunidad, the open spaces started disappearing. We started fighting for that. The ground. So, and we have gone to High Court also. Okay. Again, we collect our hard-earned money from somewhere, or someone gives us our time, the amount of time we invest in courts.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Is that monetized? If you go to see, is that monetized? No. You see, the amount of time we spend with advocates drafting,
Correct.
the amount of paperwork, that is not monetized.
Correct.
Okay. And people just sit and say, this is happening, that is happening, and they keep calling activists.
Right.
You know.
What are you doing?
What are you doing?
Correct.
You know, as if we have
And
been given the contract.
you're saying they call you to ask what you're doing, but
Yeah.
they don't ask their elected representatives what are you doing.
Exactly,
Right,
they are
right,
not ready.
right.
Panchayats, see, I have been a panchayat member also. My
Yes.
father was a sarpanch in that village.
Right.
Those days when the regulations involved were there,
Right.
getting the thing of my sarpanch, they were wonderful regulations. After the Panchayat Act 94,
Right.
I was elected in 97.
Right.
And since I have done extensive study on the Panchayat Act, I think the present panchayat members enjoy this situation of having no responsibilities. You see what is happening in Sankwad and all. They say, no, we are not responsible
I will
for
just,
this.
I will
Town
just
and
rephrase
country
what you
planning.
said. You said something very important. You
Yeah.
said the present panchayat members enjoy themselves and are happy to be without responsibility.
Yes.
This is what you basically
Okay.
said.
And
but there's a very important point that
Yes.
you mentioned. Yeah.
See,
correct.
there you don't see any panchayat members
Yeah.
trying to fight for devolution of powers in the right way.
Right,
Okay.
right.
All
And
are,
do you think this mess has happened because of
yeah.
this?
The only little glimpses we find in Kalangut, where Joseph Sequeira, he has challenged the directorate. He has challenged the law. In a meaningful way. He has brought certain relief from Supreme Court and all.
Right.
But the other panchayat members are just going through the motions, and this sort of loopholes in the law gives them a good chance to tell the Gram Sabha, no, I have not given the permission. TCP has given the permission.
Right.
But they are not asking the government to give us a technically competent person who will
Right.
analyze what the TCP is saying.
Got it.
Yeah. And first and foremost, why the TCP should be the technical body to approve permissions in panchayats. The government should give technical empowerment to the panchayats to approve their own plans. Municipalities also should have the technical experts. They may be from TCP, deputed on this thing because they know the law. It can
Right.
be from WRD, everywhere. And we should have this to decide. Everything is decided in the TCP first, and then the file is pushed before us.
But
Before
the charge against activists are that the thing is, you all oppose everything, as a result of which development in per se is getting opposed. How can the state progress
Yes,
without
yes. See, we have,
if there is an opposition?
I was just discussing with one of my senior
Yes.
activist friends
Yes.
and all.
Yes.
No? Right from 80s, 90s, we were accused of being anti-development.
Right.
Okay, you all are anti-development, and now the same people today are crying that, see, roads are bad, this is happening, we are not getting water. So people just talk. Okay, and that is what I'm telling you. They have never what you call that, experienced the pain. What we have gone through, we have had sleepless nights. Attacks even on us. Okay, at least I had what police information I got. 2 supari beads were there on me, on my life. Okay, those days, 99, 97 onwards. So my family, the whole family is disturbed. So it doesn't matter to people to talk that these people are anti-development, as if I'm getting a thrill from doing
this.
that.
Correct.
You see the mess for yourself, no?
Right.
Why do you call us anti-development?
Correct. Glenn, the thing is, now you know the situation of Old Goa at this point of time. Now let us break it down for our viewers as to, see, most people, many people do not understand the time bomb on which Old Goa is sitting on, because it looks very beautiful and other things. You tell us that if this unplanned planning goes on for another 5 to 6 years, what will be the changes in Old Goa, and what will Old Goa look in the next exposition?
in Old Goa already Kadama plateau is gone now.
Right.
You will not find any greenery.
Right.
Secondly, the whatever greenery patches, it is around the monuments only.
Right.
If this unplanned development happens, we will not able to see the whatever greenery left in Old Goa. And secondly, as per the PDA report, PW report, there is already water shortage. Kadamba plateau doesn't have a water pipeline. Still, government and TCB goes on approving the mega projects. I don't know from where the resource they will get. Water, electricity, road. As it said, as is we seen in the Purvarim, they are suffering from the water shortage. Everywhere in Goa there is a situation. There is no planned development. You have to see the resources available in the village. Just sitting in the offices, you are getting approval. And secondly, Goa being this is the only UNESCO listed site in Goa.
Right.
So there should be a special treatment for the Old Goa.
Right.
The government, see, after we are shouting that our tourism is decreasing.
Right.
Because of that unplanned development on the beach side.
Right.
So now the only thing is like, now if we started attacking heritage, I don't think so in future we will get a good tourist visiting Goa, because already our beach line is gone, shoreline is gone, we cannot find anything now. So already there is a decrease in tourist. So if this happens, I think so we will lose our heritage tag for the old UNESCO list, heritage tag for the Old Goa, as well as our economy will collapse.
So you are saying the threat of losing that heritage tag?
Yeah,
is very
it
much
is there.
there.
It's looming out.
Right.
See, if one day or today it will happen. If you don't take a corrective step now, it will happen, because already we had seen in mining thing. It was not that it was not a regularized mining. There was a lot of illegalities was there. So mining stopped. In similar way, which the other major economy was the tourism. That is also hampering. In beach line is already almost collapsed because of a lot of other players from other cities came in. And they are not as per the Goa centric. They are just came for the money. As Sota said, we are welcoming everyone with open arms, but at the end of the day we are backstabbed. So somewhere it's to stop. So whatever now we said in Old Goa also, whatever projects are coming, it is not by the local builders. Most of them are all outsiders.
Right.
And who doesn't have care for the Old Goa. Maybe it is Old Goa is known for everyone. It may be everyone is connected for the heritage, as a spiritually we're connected.
And
So-
you are saying when these things happen, the panchayat and the local bodies are not involved in this at all?
No,
Right.
whatever they, as the Sotar said, the permission comes from the TCB. They
No,
don't-
but ultimately construction license has to be finally
Yeah,
given
but
by the
they say-
panchayat. Why doesn't the panchayat stop it?
No, they say the construction license is signed by the secretary. Today, recently one case was in Old Goa, the secretary said, no, panchayat doesn't have authority to issue construction license, it is mine. So they showed one circular dated some 2 years back, something. They say secretary has absolute power to issue the construction license.
And you are saying this, the secretary is completely controlled by
Yeah.
the government, you are saying?
So that is there. So that's what, no, as I
So
say,
will you would like to
this
comment
is
on
this is the issue. See, after GBA fought the anti-2011 regional plan, okay, till 2010, okay, the panchayats came under the 1972 building rules under the Panchayat Act.
Right.
Okay, they were of course obsolete. They were archaic because that time it talked of pakka houses and this and that. They had to obey this. Now, no sooner the regional plan was blocked, Okay, they came out with something called the Goa Land Zoning and Building Regulations.
That's right.
They formed a steering committee,
Correct.
and unfortunately, certain so-called Save Goa activists also became panelists on that. Others also supported that, and at that time I had told them, how can you take out the powers of the panchayat and the municipalities and give it in the hands of TCP? When we were there, and I have blocked many projects when I was a panchayat member, because the files came first to the panchayat, and no sooner the files came to the panchayat, then we had to give the forwarding letters to TCP, PWD and health. So on that I used to put a noting, please check the gradient, please check the setbacks or whatever I noticed.
Right.
You know, and then the TCP and TCP was only the technical officer under the Panchayat Act.
So, sort of what has changed now? My point is
Now the point is, now the permissions are granted under the TCP Act, under this Goa Land Zoning
Right.
and Building, where all these permissions are first cleared by the TCP under the TCP
but it's
Act.
still the panchayat that has to sign on the dotted line right at the end.
Panchayat is only authorized the panchayat is only authorized, it comes to the panchayat for construction permission.
Correct.
To collect the fees.
The same thing is happening
Now
in the Bhutani project in Sankwal.
Yes. Now when some sarpanchas refused and the matter went to director of panchayat, one question came up. Are you the technical authority? Because the technical authority has given the NOC.
You're right.
What is your technical competence to refuse
So you are saying
this
the
file?
panchayat has only become a rubber stamp to,
Exactly.
to do what the TCP wants you to do. That's
The
what it is.
technical officer live with TCP, no? If the technical officer was present in the BDO's office, I could refer the file to the technical officer and get it struck down.
Right.
Now
Right.
I don't have that recourse.
Correct. Wilbur, before we end, I want you to weigh in on something else. See, at the end of the day, we can all discuss till the cows come home. But ultimately, it boils down to the fact that the political dispensation and across any parties, they are not concerned about public opinion on these issues anymore, because elections are no longer won and lost on the basis of this. And that is a general belief. Would you agree with that? And if so, why and yes?
Yeah, absolutely right. People today want favors, as sort of mentioned initially, all want. Citizens don't care as long as their work is done personally. So you're bound to your local punch or MLA.
Right.
And this is how the corruption increases, and ultimately the elections give the result. So when we are not concerned as citizens for our area, and even in the panchayat, as Sotis said, I remember when I was in building, I'm still there, but not as like before, 30-35 years back, the files would go from the panchayat to the different authorities.
Right. Right.
Because the panchayat is the body that decides
Right.
whether there are proper roads, there's water, there's
Right.
excess, all that panchayat has to decide.
Right.
TCP can't decide.
Right.
They are technical.
Right.
Even the BDO, which comes under director of panchayat, is a technical. They have an
Right.
engineer.
Sure.
He's given powers. So there must be an engineer who's
So coming back to the political, you are saying that that political parties, MLAs, leaders, ministers,
they don't care.
they don't think there are enough people opposing them. If you leave
Correct.
the activists out, in
Yes.
terms of sheer votes,
Yes.
voting doesn't get impacted because of these things.
No, because ultimately they are buying votes. No, they're buying out people today, and people are falling into that trap. Or they are splitting parties. You see, if someone gets elected on Congress, he jumps into BJP. So it is money power. What is ruling the
Yes, you are
today is
saying
money
that
power.
the old Goa voter or the Kumbarjua voter
Yeah.
will not turn around and tell the MLA that we are not going to vote for you again because of the mess that you made in Old Goa. This is something, this narrative will not be heard.
That's what. If this could have come out, I think so. No MLA would have dared to change the party. So people should understand there is high time. It's always they blame the activists. Why are you not doing that? It is not our job. It is all people. All people should come. It is not. We are not accountable. Accountable person, they never ask the questions. So anything happens in Old Goa also. If I not raise my voice, they say why are you not raising?
Also,
No,
it is
one
surprising-
thing
yes.
again, I just forgot to add. See, the first thing today, things are not going to the people's court.
Yeah.
Okay, everyone is
Right.
because there's a lot of money in Goa. First thing we jump to the court. Moment you jump to the court, government wants us to go to court. Then they say matter is sub judice. Same thing panchayat say matter is sub judice. Don't bring it up in the Gram Sabha.
Right.
Understood? No. And we have started jumping. Where is the people's court?
Correct.
You see,
Jurisprudence has to happen there
we have
first. Yes,
weakened
yes.
the People's Court.
Right.
Those days of Konkani agitation, anti-matter strips, it was the People's Court which
Correct.
decided, and then people. We as activists have weakened the People's Court. We have taken the shortcut of PILs. Okay, and this what do you call that, judicial activism
Correct.
has killed the people's movements, and this is the result of what we see today.
Right,
and
right.
how many activists and all, they are investing so much of their time studying the matter.
Right, right.
How many of the common civil society people, members, spend time learning about their rights and duties in a democracy?
Right.
How many of them spend time reading and reading about what is going on politically?
Correct.
And analyzing it, discussing it. So community groups are missing totally. You see, you have MLAs running visionary groups and some groups and organizing the whole tamasha.
Right,
You see,
right.
and the remaining part goes with religions.
Sure.
One feast and one festival and then tourism festival. People are all looking at which festival is coming next, which wedding is coming next. So more debate on whether sound permission should be taken for weddings and all. There is more reaction on
Diversion.
that rather than on their daily bread and butter and what is going to affect their future generations. There is absolutely no debate.
Okay, we've run out of time, but I thank all our panelists, unless any of you want to make a closing remark.
No, I would like to say
yes.
something connected.
Yes.
About 30 years back, from
Yeah.
80s, tourism started in the 80s.
Yes.
You see places that developed was Kalangut,
Sure,
Baga, Vagat
sure.
or Anchuna.
Sure.
It was with the locals.
Right.
The locals were renting out a room.
That's right.
Offering food and were happy.
The relationship was between the villager and the tourist directly.
Yes,
Yes,
Today, with all these outsiders pouring their black money into Goa,
Correct.
they're just buying properties, developing illegally, and and they have killed hen that lays the golden eggs, and the locals are nowhere. So this is something.
Right.
Who wants such tourists?
They
Tell
have
me.
choked Delhi, now they're choking Goa.
us.
Correct.
Now, and I don't know why they're coming here for what. I think they should be all sent on the highway to breathe this. They have, breathed whatever bad oxygen there, and now they're coming disturbing us here, which is not right. So our government has to act and has to be pro-Goan, totally pro-Goan.
I'll pick up on Wilbur's last comment he made. The government has to act, and I will take that along with what Sauter said, which was very, very poignant. He says the people have to act, because at the end of the day, unless the people act, the government will not
Correct.
act. And I think this is where I think all of you all have said this, because we started this discussion as a concern with the state of Panjim, Porvorim, Old Goa, especially with the exposition and the IFI going on. But this discussion has gone beyond that, and rightly so, and we welcome that. Is that it is not just about these two big events that are happening, but our governance has become so skewed and so different from what it was, whereby the common man on the street, the local bodies and others no longer have the power and the strength to control the destiny of the people in the manner that the people ultimately want. And I think that is the biggest takeaway, because while you have the development engine going on in one side, we also need to ask this question as to whose development are we actually talking
Happiness
about.
factor.
And that is very important. And the point is, ultimately taking people for granted is not a good thing in any civil society, because when you lose 4 innocent lives of people who fall into ditches and gutters and die because of these open gutters due to this so-called smart city work, then there is something really rotten in the state that we are living in. And these are questions that need to be asked, because it is not smart when you have 4 people dying on these so-called smart city or other roads. It is not smart when people have to spend 2 hours to come from Mapsa to Panjim. It is not smart when Goa is the old Goa is in the state of losing its heritage tag. This is not smart, and it is also not smart when people remain as silent spectators and wait for only activists to go to the PIL. I think on all these aspects we are not smart, and I think on this note we will end this. I thank all the 3 panelists for giving their time and their insights into this. But this is a subject that we must keep on debating, keep on arguing, and keep on fighting. Thank you.